Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. My name is Rux, I'm a Western Tropical Astrologer, and today we're going to be talking about the new moon in Leo coming up on the 4th of August at 12 minutes past 11 GMT time, so you can adjust that for your own time zone. This new moon is happening at 12 degrees 33 minutes of Leo, so if you have planets or angles in your natal chart around 12 degrees of fixed signs, you're likely to feel this new moon the most. We don't feel every single astrological event in the sky because that would probably be chaotic. We are likely to feel the most the astrological events that activate our own natal chart, our own birth chart, which is the map of the sky at the time when we were born. If you have in your natal chart planets or angles around the following, around 12 degrees, of the following signs, you're likely to really enjoy this new moon. I'm talking to folks who have planets or angles around 12 degrees of Gemini, Libra, Sagittarius, and also Aries. The new moon is going to make a really supportive, a really harmonious aspect with your natal planetary placements. Now, if you have no clue what I'm talking about, once again, your natal chart. It's actually quite easy to generate your natal chart online. All you need to do is, first and foremost, find out your time of birth, and then you go online, you go on Google, you can use astro.com or astro-seek.com. You can Google online natal chart generator if you're not sure about what to use, and you basically input your date, time, and place of birth, and then you get a graphic depiction of what your natal chart looks like. And generally there's also a list to the side that takes you through your natal planetary placements. It tells you at what degrees you have your planets, the sun, the moon, Mercury, Venus, etc., your ascendant, and so on. It is generally quite, if you want to make the most of these general astrological forecasts, it is generally quite useful to have a list of your natal planetary placements along with the degrees. Now, again, if you have no clue what on earth this is about, there's also another option, which is to work with an astrologer. An astrologer can not just help you generate your natal chart, but most importantly, they can help you interpret and analyze and understand your natal chart, what it means, how you can work with it, how you can make the most of it, how you can make the most of the cards that you have been dealt, so to speak. The natal chart is a snapshot of both our inner and outer world. It is also a snapshot of our soul's intentions from a symbolic and archetypal perspective. You could say that the natal chart tells us both what our soul's intentions are in this lifetime. It also helps us understand how we can make the most, as I said, of what we have been endowed with, how we can navigate the various sectors of our life, and how we can basically, I want to say, evolve, but also feel fulfilled from various different standpoints. Now, if you're thinking, Rux, can I work with you? Especially, I know that there are quite a few new people here on my channel. Yes, the answer is yes. I am a full-time consulting astrologer. I work with clients on a day-to-day basis. I've been doing this for over a decade. The place where you can book a personal astrological consultation with me is my website, which is writteninthestars-astrology.com. It's also in the pinned comment and in the description box. writteninthestars-astrology.com. You can go straight to the services section, and if you're a new client, you can go straight for the 1 hour 15-minute Zoom consultation. If you're an existing client, you know the drill. There's also additional options for you, such as the year ahead forecast at a preferential rate or the 30 minutes follow-up consultation. Now, let's say you're someone who's had their natal chart analyzed, interpreted before, but you haven't worked with me before. Still, the option to go for is the 1 hour 15 minutes Zoom consultation, and we can customize this completely to your needs. Let's say you want to look into compatibility with someone important in your life. Maybe you want to dive into astrocartography. You want to potentially travel somewhere, or maybe you're thinking of relocating and you're actually wondering, okay, if I relocate to this point in the world, how will my natal chart be activated? What sort of energies am I likely to encounter there? What does a specific place in the world emphasize in my own personal birth chart? If you want to better understand how you can fulfill your potential from a vocational and professional perspective, how you can navigate relationships better. Astrology actually I don't want to say it has all the answers. It can help you find the answers. Astrology is another layer of knowledge and insight that helps you better navigate through life. I see it almost as a symbolic manual for life, if we can call it this way. Written in the stars-astrology.com, that is where you can find me. Now, going back to the new moon in Leo. I have to be very honest with you folks, it's probably one of my favorite astrological events, the new moon in Leo of August. August is a pretty chaotic month. Like, the energy is quite scattered all over the place, but this new moon is beautiful. It's beautiful because it's making a harmonious aspect with Jupiter and Mars. A new moon generally corresponds with some sort of a new beginning, some sort of a fresh start. Now, that doesn't necessarily have to be very, I don't know, like loud or in everyone's faces. It doesn't have to be the most obvious thing. It could be something that happens maybe in our private lives. Of course, we're going to go through the updates for each of the 12 zodiac signs, so you can understand where this fresh start is kind of, where this fresh start kind of energy is building up. Generally, at the time of the new moon is a moment for us to sow some seeds, to set intentions, to initiate things, to, as I said, plant the seeds in a direction that we want to see growing and evolving. It is only the seed moment. I think this is very, very important to remind everyone. The new moon is only the beginning. We are likely to see results and culminations at the time of the full moon, generally in 6 months' time, at least. Now, because the new moon is happening in Leo, the spotlight is being placed on a fresh start that involves some sort of fun, playful, creative, entertaining energy. Where in your life do you need to infuse more fun, more entertainment, and more creative self-expression? Where in your life do you want to gain more exposure? This new moon also puts the spotlight on where we want to get more attention, where we want to draw more attention, where we want to shine, where we want to stand out. So it's a perfect time to set intentions to stand out and to shine in a specific sector in our lives. It's also the perfect time to start off something with joy and enthusiasm, and also this sort of like young, youthful, fresh spirit, the spirit of our inner child. Now, because of the harmonious aspect, the sextile is an aspect of collaboration to Mars and Jupiter, we are receiving help to kick off something in our lives that is going to generate maybe more fun, maybe more attention. We are receiving help from Mars, planet of action, so it feels like we're kind of like infused with stamina. It could also be that there's someone in our life who brings that sort of like additional energy to make things happen. Mars is also courage. So Mars can bring a lot of courage in terms of this new direction that we're maybe confident to step into. Jupiter brings an opportunity and expansion. Now, because Mars and Jupiter are in Gemini, opportunity and expansion and also courage is likely to come in the form of thoughts, words, ideas, but maybe also important conversations, maybe an important meeting, maybe a book that we read. So think about the realm of the intellect, because that's generally where Gemini operates. Gemini is also very strongly associated with curiosity. So we might be curious. Our curiosity might be, what's the word? Piqued, right? Piqued. Forgive me if I mispronounce words sometimes, because English is not my first language and I read words obviously, but unless I hear someone actually like say them or pronounce them, I just like take a stab at it and do my best to pronounce it well, but sometimes it is quite far from how a word should actually be pronounced. Leo is also, in terms of archetypal energy, and we all have all 12 zodiac signs in our natal chart, by the way, so we all have Leo somewhere in our natal chart. Leo is all about confidence, right? Confidence, self-expression, and also being unique, being special, standing out. Where in your life do you want to stand out more? And what are you going to do about it? Because this is a perfect time to do that. Of course, I'm going to share my thoughts. I'm going to share my my approach to maybe how to make the most of this new moon. But it is a good question to reflect upon. Leo is also the main character, right? Leo is the king, the queen, right? It's grandiose. It's full of pomp and grandeur, and everyone looks up to them, right? And I'm not necessarily referring about the Leo person. I'm not referring to the Leo person. I'm referring to the Leo symbolic archetypal energy that, I repeat, exists in every single one of our astrological birth charts. Collectively. So when it comes to what's going on all over the world, this new one is likely to put the spotlight on new leaders, children, maybe the entertainment industry, and also performances in general. I am also thinking maybe there could be some sort of a fresh start and a fresh agreement when it comes to what's going on with maybe like the strikes in the world of like actors and so on. Forgive me because I might not necessarily have all the facts, because I don't pay close attention to the news unless there's like something like massive happening that I read it. But generally I try not to stay all over it. But if you do watch the news, as I said, fresh start in terms of like new leaders, important new leaders, but also a spotlight placed on the entertainment industry. Now, very, very important to remember that Mercury goes retrograde right after the new moon. So what does that tell us? It tells us that at the time of the new moon, we may feel ready to initiate something, but then with the Mercury retrograde, it might feel like we have to potentially revisit our strategy, maybe make sure that our plan is doable, it's workable. Maybe our plan needs a little bit of extra work. And something very, very important, Mercury retrograde is very supportive of us reaching back to people from the past, and maybe also starting work again on old projects. So kind of like revisiting old projects and saying, okay, can I bring some sort of like new life? Can I give this this project maybe a new lease of life in some shape or form? Can I revive it? So that is what's going on in general with the new moon. Of course, now we're going to go into the updates for each of the 12 zodiac signs. And I know I repeat myself because, again, some people might have been following me for a long time. Some people might have just landed here and they might be thinking, what is this about? What am I supposed to do here? My big recommendation is to listen to the update for your rising sign, for your ascendant, rather than for your sun sign. Now, if you don't know your rising sign, of course, you can listen to the update for your sun sign, but that is my number one recommendation because this type of general forecast, this type of general horoscope is built with the rising sign in mind. Now, also, please remember that this is a general forecast, so you cannot and should not expect it to resonate fully and completely with your life, because it's only based off of your rising sign, once again. And our natal chart is a lot more complex than that. We have 10 planets, we have angles, we have 12 houses. Yeah, astrology is a lot more complicated and complex than a lot of people know. So again, remember that this is a general forecast, and if you would like to maybe understand at a deeper level how you can make the most of the year ahead, what sort of chapter of your life you're in, how you can better work with the timeline of your life, which is again something that astrology helps us with, my recommendation is to work with an astrologer one-to-one. Of course, you can work with me if you like my style, if you resonate with me. My website is writteninthestars-astrology.com. So without further ado, let us dive right in. And of course, we're going to start off with Aries, the one and only Aries, Aries suns and Aries risings, 4th of August. Also, maybe 3 days before, 3 days after. So I would recommend paying attention to the days leading up to the new moon. There's going to be a new moon happening in your 5th house of fun, enjoyment, entertainment, creative self-expression, and it's making a really supportive aspect with Jupiter and Mars in your 3rd house of communication, writing, and speaking. So I feel like some of you could start maybe learning something new, something that you are really really enthusiastic about, something that really piques your interest, something that speaks to your heart, I'd say. You could also start working in collaboration with someone on some sort of a creative project, my dear Aries. I feel like this other person might bring in maybe ideas of some sorts. This could also be a good time to initiate a new creative project, maybe that requires you to potentially like travel short distance or jump on the train quite a lot, maybe go to the library, do a lot of research, call people, email people, and so on. This can also be a fresh start, my lovely Aries, in terms of you learning how to communicate better about what makes you happy, what makes you feel joy, and what makes you feel excited. For those of you who have kids, it could be a fresh start in terms of how you communicate with your children. You might feel like you're much more aligned, like they may be they're maybe willing to share more with you. There could also be potentially a fresh start that you're experiencing, Aries, in regards to children. Maybe a child is starting off some sort of like new game, new activity, new extracurricular activity. Maybe you've decided to, I don't know, like take them to drama classes and they love it and they really enjoy it. So again, spotlight placed on kids quite a lot. This can also be, and I like this very, very much, if you're single, it can be a fresh start in terms of romance, my lovely Aries. You might decide potentially to start dating more. You might decide potentially to start being more open to connecting with people romantically. And if you are already in a relationship, there is nothing to say that you can't experience this fresh start. Maybe it's time for you to be more direct and open and kind of like forthcoming with your partner about what you enjoy, what makes you happy, what sort of like activities you would like to engage more in. My dear Taurus, a new beginning filled with enthusiasm coming up on the 4th of August, also active 3 days before, 3 days after in your 4th house of home, family life, living situation, private life. And this new moon is really nicely aspected to planets in your 2nd house of income. So what am I seeing here? You could experience some sort of a fresh start when it comes to maybe starting to direct more of your money and resources towards the home. Maybe you are excited because, I don't know, you're getting ready to buy a home. Maybe you're very excited because you're relocating. Maybe you're very excited because the family is growing, it's expanding. Maybe you're super excited because you are ready to kind of like leave your mark on the space that you live in, and you feel super creative and you're enthusiastic, and you probably feel, again, I want to say maybe a little bit not just enthusiastic, but also in a rush to kind of like change things around the house. At the same time, this new moon can also, let's see, bring with it some sort of a fresh start in terms of you and a partner being on the same page in terms of maybe how to spend money on matters connected with home life, family life, and so on. Last but not least, it could also be a time when you set a new goal, a new intention, maybe to possibly save more money, or possibly kind of like revisit your budget and your income in such a way that you can accomplish one of your long-term goals connected with your home life and family life and living situation. That is Taurus. Now let us move on to Gemini. Gemini suns and Gemini risings. 4th of August, active 3 days before, 3 days after. A fun, exciting, enthusiastic, fresh start, new beginning. When it comes to maybe learning something new, you could kick off a new course, a new class. Maybe you've set the intention to possibly not just learn something new, but write something new. Maybe you wanna, I don't know, like write your thesis or write a book. You seem to feel very, very confident around this time in your communication skills and also in your ability to be very persuasive. I dare say that you might also adopt a new technique, a new approach, a new strategy when it comes to persuading others about what is important to you. This could also be the time when you start important conversations with someone who can have a really positive impact upon your career moving forward. Now, it might take a while for this to actually play out, for this to actually manifest. That doesn't mean that you should not invest time and energy in this direction. On the absolute contrary, Some of you could be purchasing a new car. Some of you could be hearing news that are like a piece of news that is super exciting, coming from maybe like a sibling or a cousin or a neighbor. And some of you could be kicking off some sort of a new activity together with your local community, maybe together with your neighbors, something that you feel very invested in, something that you believe in very, very much. It could be something connected with, I don't know, like keeping the neighborhood like clean, or maybe like working out in the neighborhood, or something along those lines. Cancerians, Cancer suns and Cancer risings, 4th of August, active 3 days before, 3 days after. The new moon in Leo is putting the spotlight on your 2nd house, and it is sextiling Jupiter and Mars in your 12th house. I feel like you could... So, my lovely Cancerians, I feel like you could start developing some sort of a new source of income, but maybe in a behind-the-scenes way, my dear Cancerians. Now, when I say this, it doesn't necessarily mean that, okay, I'm working on something behind the scenes. It could mean that. It could mean that you're working on something behind the scenes that is going to bring you money in the longer term. But you could also start, for example, maybe learning something, reading something, studying something, working on something behind the scenes. Maybe kind of like being curious about how you can monetize something, but you're not yet revealing this to the outside world. You're like, you know what, I'm just going to do my research. I'm just going to do my digging. And then after I've gained a little bit more confidence in terms of what you want to do, I can share this with the world. It also feels like this new moon brings a fresh start in terms of your sense of self-worth and self-esteem, my dear Cancerians. You seem to be a lot more confident about taking risks, especially in the workspace, and also when it comes to maybe doing things that aren't necessarily super clear in terms of the steps that need to be taken in order to achieve that particular goal. I feel like you're also overcoming around this time, my dear Cancerians, some sort of a block or some sort of a pattern of thought that was holding you back from kind of like fully maybe asking or demanding what you are worth, I'd say. At the same time, when we've got planets in the 12th house getting activated, like now at the time of this new moon, sometimes, you know, hindsight is 2020. Sometimes things start happening behind the scenes that we're not fully aware of yet. Not necessarily bad things, they could be really good things. And the reality of them is fully revealed to us. We see the full picture a little bit further down the line. So there could be, I don't know, people talking behind the scenes, people kind of like having ideas, maybe talking about you, and further down the line reaching out to you and saying, you know what, let's work together. You can make this much money, and so on. It is a very good time to look at budgets at the time of this new moon, and also really kind of like cut out of your life, my dear Cancerians, whatever isn't that valuable to you anymore. Why spend money on it if it doesn't matter as much? You seem to be quite clear on what is worth your cash and what is not worth your cash at the time of this new moon. Leos. This new moon, Leo suns and Leo risings, is putting the spotlight on you. You are the absolute stars. 4th of August, active 3 days before, 3 days after. This new moon emphasizes your life direction, your sense of identity, how you show up in the world, and your goals for the future. I dare say that you're probably going to set some new goals and intentions, my dear Leos, when it comes to plans for the future, especially plans connected with one of the following. Plans connected with home and family life, maybe studies, maybe even children, and possibly even money and shared assets and shared resources. This could be the time maybe when you enter into a new community, a new group of people. It could also be the time when you decide to maybe take some sort of central role within a community or within a group of people. You might be elected to take some sort of a central role within a community or group of people. You could also decide, you know what, this is the person who I want to become. And as a result, so let's say you have some kind of like big goals for yourselves, Leos. This is the person who I want to become. Who do I need to surround myself with? I feel like you can take action around this time to surround yourselves with the right people, maybe even to join the tribe, the community that can help you evolve into that person that you're so kind of like eager to evolve into. You are full of energy, you're very enthusiastic. I feel like this could also be the time when the spotlight is being placed on your relationship with your body. You might have some really kind of like big goals, big aims connected with your physical body. So I'm thinking goals connected with physical movement, for instance. It's not a bad idea, for example, to maybe like join, I don't know, your local soccer team if you do have these goals. It feels like this is something that is going to bring you a stronger sense of confidence in yourselves, Leos. Virgos, Virgo suns and Virgo risings. 4th of August, active 3 days before, 3 days after. This new moon puts the spotlight on your 12th house, and it is making a nice aspect to planets transiting your 10th house of career. There could be something that you kind of like start growing and developing maybe behind the scenes, my dear Virgos, connected with your career, connected with your status, connected with your reputation. I feel like someone could also be helping you from behind the scenes, maybe to advance professionally, to advance in the direction of your possibly of your professional goals. It feels like whatever's going on behind the scenes is actually quite helpful for you from a career and status perspective. I want to say that paradoxically, at the time of this new moon, the more you go with the flow and the more you just kind of like allow things to happen, the more things are likely to happen in your favor professionally. That is just the way that I would interpret this. It can be a good time to also put the spotlight on your mental health, my dear Virgos. Your mental health is very much in the spotlight, and it feels like you're becoming probably increasingly confident in terms of allowing things to happen professionally, and also maybe in terms of speaking up in the professional space and in the public space, not just professionally. And that seems to do wonders for your mental health. This could also be the time when you maybe decide to allocate more energy and more resources to what makes you happy behind the scenes, what makes your inner child happy, and just kind of like trust and have faith and confidence that things will also work out in other areas of your life, such as your career, your relationship, and so on. Last but not least, something could be happening in private, Virgos, and you might say, oh, you know what, I need to really make this announcement and share it with the world, what's been going on. But Mercury is going to go retrograde, so I feel like the announcement might be delayed. It doesn't have to be an announcement connected with your career. It could just be an announcement that, again, maybe when you share it with the world, it feels like your status and your reputation is changing, evolving, for the better, not for the worse, but change is coming. Libra suns and Libra risings. 4th of August, active 3 days before, 3 days after. We've got a new moon in your 11th house, sextiling Jupiter and Mars in the 9th house. I feel like this could be a fresh start for you, my dear Libras, in terms of setting intentions, setting goals that are quite kind of like confident for the future. It feels like you have been inspired, or you are likely to be inspired around the time of this new moon by your travels, by the people that you've met in your travels, by the people that you've connected in your journeys. You could also feel inspired around this time, maybe by someone who you see as a mentor or a guru, someone who is very wise, maybe someone who comes from a different culture, someone who kind of like helps you look at the big picture and have a better or like a deeper understanding of what the meaning of life is for you. This could also be the beginning of a new friendship. This new moon, it could bring with it the beginning of an important friendship, a friendship that can help you go places, a friendship that can help you broaden your mind, broaden your horizons, a friendship that can also potentially bring opportunities, my dear Libras, opportunities for work, for example, maybe opportunities for more money, for instance. Last but not least, it also feels like the spotlight is being placed at the time of this new moon on your community and your tribe. Ask yourselves, my dear Libras, where are you headed in life, and what sort of people do you want to surround yourselves with in order to make sure that you reach the destination? You probably do want to surround yourselves, Libras, with fun people, people filled with joy and enthusiasm, creative people, and people who also kind of, I don't know, give you more of that confidence that they naturally exude, I wanna say. Last but not least, if you have an audience in your life in any shape or form, I don't know, let's say you're like a professor and you like teach students, if you have an audience in some shape or form, it feels like this new moon could also bring a fresh start in regards to your audience. Maybe you are likely to cater to a new audience. Maybe your audience is growing and expanding in some shape or form. Whatever you do that involves an audience around the time of this new moon, whatever intentions you have regarding an audience around the time of this new moon, my recommendation is to think big, dream big, and also bring other people on board, because it's probably, like, your intention is probably going to turn out really, really, really well. Scorpio suns and Scorpio risings. 4th of August, active 3 days before, 3 days after. We've got a new moon in your 10th house of career and public status, sextiling Jupiter and Mars. Okay, so for some Scorpios, this new moon could put the spotlight on some sort of a transformation from a career perspective, from a professional perspective. Maybe you're stepping up professionally. Maybe you're getting a more prestigious job. Maybe your boss is leaving and you've applied for their job, and alas, you find out, ta-da, you got the job. This could also be the time when you maybe get more clarity as to what is going to make you happy, what is going to make you feel like really enthusiastic, and what is going to make you feel like you can really shine professionally. Maybe you realize, I want to work in a different industry. Maybe you realize, okay, this is the direction that I want to move towards career-wise, in order to feel like really confident and good about myself. This new moon could also bring with it some sort of a new creative project in the professional space. Maybe a project where you employ other people's resources, maybe where you have an investor, maybe where you have to collaborate with other people, maybe people from different countries, different cultures. Maybe there is a little bit of like traveling involved, potentially. It's possible, it's possible. This could also be a time when a parent, especially the mother, is going through some sort of a massive transformation, a massive change, something that seems to put her in a much better like state of mind, and in a much better mood, something that seems to maybe give her peace of mind, I want to say, and also a great deal of faith and hope and excitement for the future. Last but not least, the spotlight is very strongly placed on your status and reputation, Scorpios. It feels like your status and reputation in the world, not just professionally, but in general, it's getting a boost. Why is it getting a boost? I don't know. I mean, astrology is symbolic. Astrology is symbolic. It's archetypal. It doesn't tell us concrete material manifestation. I know we always, we try to find potential scenarios as to how things can play out, but ultimately, I think it's important to take the symbolism out of astrological forecasting. Ultimately, I feel like you're a lot more confident in the world and also in your career around the time of this new moon, my dear Scorpios. And it might also come as a result of you having overcome maybe what kept you kind of like stuck and blocked maybe mentally in some shape or form. Sagittarius suns and Sagittarius risings. 4th of August, active 3 days before, 3 days after. We've got a new moon in the 9th house, sextiling Jupiter and Mars. Okay, so Sagittarians, this new moon could actually bring some sort of a new partnership, maybe with someone who is based abroad, maybe a partnership or a collaboration. It could be a collaboration in your personal life, it could be in your professional life, but a collaboration maybe that involves traveling or working with people from different countries and different cultures. You could also become very clear around the time of this new moon what sort of people you want to work with in your life, both professionally as well as in your personal life, let's say. There is a possibility that around this time you might either travel or make plans to travel, my lovely Sagittarians. There could also be news from abroad, maybe from someone who is traveling themselves or someone who is based abroad. The news actually seems to be really good and exciting. So it seems to give you hope. It seems to give you direction. It seems to give you maybe like a boost in confidence. It could be news connected with one of your passions and hobbies. It could be news connected with a creative project. It could also be news connected with your home life, your private life, your personal life. I feel like you're thinking differently at the time of this new moon, my dear Sagittarius, and you're kind of like seeing the glass half full. I mean, in general, of course, Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, so there is a higher than in most people, a degree of optimism and positivity. Of course, it depends also on the aspects to Jupiter and so on. I feel like you're thinking differently, however, and you have more clarity as to what is meaningful in your life. A new guide, a new mentor could come into your life as well around this time. And last but not least, there could also be some good news if you're in a relationship connected with a partner, maybe news that potentially also involve the partner traveling more, I'd say. Capricorns, Capricorn suns, and Capricorn risings. 4th of August, active 3 days before, 3 days after, we've got a new moon activating your 8th house, sextiling Jupiter and Mars in your 6th house of health and day-to-day work. A very confident kind of like fresh start when it comes to transforming either your daily habits and your daily routines, my dear Capricorns, habits and routines that seem to have a very strong impact upon your health. This new one could also bring with it a fresh start filled with enthusiasm when it comes to transforming your day-to-day work. Maybe you are ready to apply for a new job. Maybe you're ready to, I don't know, look for additional opportunities. Maybe you're ready to take on more responsibility in your work. Maybe you're ready to be a lot more verbal, a lot more... You're probably verbal already, sorry. That came out wrong. Maybe you're ready to be a lot more vocal in the workspace, my dear Capricorns. This new moon seems to bring with it this sort of like infusion of like enthusiasm and confidence. You're still a little bit afraid, I am gonna say it, but it does feel like you maybe have the support of someone who is quite confident themselves in terms of maybe being a lot more assertive and more proactive and taking kind of like higher risks and chances in the workspace, I'd say. You seem to be working with someone who can maybe kind of like help you or guide you in terms of making these changes in your life, Capricorn, these transformations, either in the health kind of like space or in the workspace. This one could also bring with it some sort of fresh start involving bonuses and commissions if you work in that type of space. Capricorns, maybe the commission percentages at your company are going through some sort of a change, and they seem to put you in a much better position. This could also be the time when, together with a partner, it could be a business partner, it could be a life partner, you set some confident goals when it comes to shared assets and shared resources. Let's say, I don't know, you want to buy a house together or something like that, and you set an intention and you're like, okay, come on, we got to work together on a day-to-day basis to make this happen. So you seem to be like really actually thrilled to implement maybe in your day-to-day life some of these changes coming out of this sort of like joint goal, let's say. Aquarius suns and Aquarius risings. 4th of August, active 3 days before, 3 days after. The new moon in Leo activates your 7th house, and it's making a nice aspect to Jupiter and Mars in your 5th house of fun, enjoyment, and entertainment and creative projects. This new moon could be the beginning of a new collaboration. It could be a collaboration in the professional space. It absolutely can be. It could also be a collaboration. Let's see. Maybe with a community of people, with a group of people, because Jupiter rules your 11th house. The collaboration seems to be something that you're kind of like very excited to kick off. It could be the beginning of a new partnership, maybe also with people who seem to bring in an infusion of new ideas, an infusion of like inspiration, creative ideas, and so on. It could also be the beginning of a new collaboration, maybe when it comes to one of your passions and hobbies. Let's say, for example, Aquarius, that you like to play tennis. So maybe you find someone at your club, someone new, maybe they've just joined, and you see them playing, and you reach out to them and you say, come on, let's play tennis together. And they're like, yeah, let's play tennis together. And it can be the fresh start, the fresh start that you were waiting for when it comes to doing more of what you love, which could be playing tennis, for example. This could also be a fresh start in terms of working with someone to help you with matters connected with children if you have children. Maybe you're working, I don't know, with some sort of a helper, some sort of a guide. It could just be a nanny. It could be a new nanny. But again, it's a new moon that emphasizes collaborations and partnerships, I'd say, my lovely Aquarians. It could also be a fresh start when it comes to your personal life. For those of you who are single, this new moon can bring in a new romantic partner. It could be someone who is really smart, really kind of like a pleasure to like talk to, someone that is very curious, very talkative, someone that is very open-minded. It also feels like this person, if you welcome them into your life, Aquarius, because of course you have free will. Astrology does not take away our free will in any shape or form. It could feel like this person is going to bring a lot of like fun and movement, maybe traveling, maybe, I don't know, like physical activity, like sports, games, hiking, you know, all of that jazz. Last but not least, if you're already in a relationship, Aquarius, this new moon could bring with it some sort of a fresh start for your partner. So the spotlight is being placed on partners. Maybe they're joining a new community of people. Maybe they're becoming much more prominent and active within a community of people, within a group of people. Maybe they are excited to do something new together with their friends. Maybe your partner has decided, you know what, I'm going to join my friends for their weekly, I don't know, like bike ride. I want to say this, everyone seems to be happy as a result of whatever your partner is doing. So if your partner wants to spend more time doing whatever they love doing, you also seem to be really happy because they're bringing in this sort of like fun, enthusiastic energy into the house. You benefit, they benefit, everyone benefits. Pisces suns and Pisces risings. 4th of August, active. 3 days before, 3 days after, we've got a new moon in your 6th house, making a nice aspect to Jupiter and Mars in your 4th house. I feel like you could start working on something new at home, maybe together, I don't know, with a partner. Maybe you're starting to work on, I don't know, an extension for the house. You could start working with a family member on something at the house, maybe something that requires a lot of energy. Maybe it requires expenses also. But I gotta say, you genuinely seem to like this project. It seems to bring you kind of like excitement. It seems to bring you enthusiasm. It seems to be like a really motivating project. At the same time, you could also start some sort of a new job. Maybe it's not necessarily like a job within a different company or like completely novel altogether. Maybe it's a new job within the same company that you've been working for. Maybe it is something that you're really kind of like excited to like sink your teeth into. You've been reading up on it. Maybe you realize, okay, I have to do more research at home. Maybe I have to like get up to speed with what this new job involves. But you seem to be, if you ask me, quite thrilled with it, and it also seems to kind of like open you up to maybe like new information, new ways of thinking, maybe a new skill set altogether. Speaking of a new skill set, this could be a new beginning in terms of how you serve others, how you help others, because let's not forget the 6th house is a house of service. Last but not least, it could also be at the time when maybe your kind of like day-to-day work schedule starts to look different in such a way that it allows you maybe to focus more on your home life, your private life, your family life, you know, that sort of elusive, what is it, work-life balance, as they say. It seems to actually be within reach, my lovely Pisces. If you've been meaning to make some significant changes when it comes to your health, this is it. Fresh start, set intentions. It is time to like step into, I don't know, your new life health-wise, habits-wise. It's time to go back to the gym. It's time to go back hiking. It's time to go back on your bike. You seem to have people on your side. They could be family members. They could be friends. They could be people who you see as close as maybe family members. They are with you. They are supporting you. So now's the time to kind of like kick off that super like healthy regimen, because you actually believe in it. You're very confident that you can make things happen. And most of the times we actually, I mean, I think confidence in many cases is the deal breaker. Without confidence, if we don't actually believe we can make things happen, I mean, what's the point in even starting? And I love this new moon because it's got a lot of confidence that it brings with it. Now, folks, please let us know in the comments how this new moon plays out for you. And remember that we are not just passive receivers of life. We are active creators of life. So sometimes, I mean, many times actually, astrology, the cosmos, it manifests through us. We have to take action. We have to set intentions. We are the co-creators of our life. So don't just wait for life to happen. Take a step, take action, make things happen in your life, or don't, because again, you have free will and you don't have to listen to me. I'm just a random person on the internet talking about the planets. If you enjoy my content, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, share with your friends, with your family. And if you want to work with me, once again, you can find me on my website, which is writteninthestars-astrology.com. That is writteninthestars-astrology.com. Last but not least, I'm also on Instagram at ruxunbelievable, in one word, ruxunbelievable. So if you want to follow me for more personal updates, you can find me there. Enjoy this new moon, and I will see you next time. Thank you. Bye.